there'll be time for explanations later, and hopefully some sex. Welcome to another very special episode of Ash and Des Remember. I'm Ash Price.
And I'm Des Judas Gorman.
You couldn't even get the O. How many episodes have we done? You don't remember them. My name is O. Gorman. And today we're talking...
Irish.
Yes, I know. I invaded his country once. So...
We got you back. Right?
Yeah, we did. All right, I'm so sorry. And tonight today, whenever you're choosing to watch / listen to this, we're talking about something very, very special. Something that's very
listen. You said listen.
Yes, I did.
Are you pished?
Yeah, I'm a little pished. Yes, a little pished. I'm not going to mish.
You're not going to mish. You said mish.
What?
I'm not going to mish. You said.
Look, Rimmer, would you relax? I know what I'm doing. I am not pished. That's right, we're talking about something very special. Ash, do you remember the small rouge one? The boys from the dwarf? Do you remember Red Dwarf? No.
Yes, I remember. I was a huge Red Dwarf fan. And I've been...
Whoa, sorry, I have to flag something up there. You were?
No, I am.
Good.
Whew,
all right.
Yeah. Huge Red Dwarf fan. Yeah, I think we just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to talk about. We've got 25, 30 minutes to talk about this.
You know, if this goes on longer, we could split it in two.
Well, there was an idea we talked about, and we will hopefully get into this soon.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
We will be. We are planning to do a spin-off from Ash and Des Remember.
Yeah.
Where we actually go through the entirety of Red Dwarf.
We'll do an episode-by-episode breakdown. We haven't worked on
the specials and all of that.
We haven't worked on a title yet. I was thinking, Ash and Des versus the Small Rouge one. So it could be anything.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
We'll think of something better than what I just said.
Much better.
So how did your introduction of Red Dwarf start?
Okay, so it was I think it was a Friday night. Mm-hmm. And I was watching TV and I was flicking through the channels. I think I was at my grandparents. And this show started. And I had nothing else to watch, so I think it was 1994, something like that.
So that must have been series...
It was before Series 7, it was after Series 6.
So it must have been Red Dwarf Night.
No.
That was 98.
That was 98, 98. It was about 2 years later, so it was about... I was about 93, 94, something like that. Anyway, it was Series 6, it was Sirens, and I watched it. And at this stage, obviously not knowing anything about the show, and I watched it and I absolutely loved it. And Sirens is a great jumping on point because it was intentionally designed to be a jumping on point.
Yeah. It gives an exposition dump. Lister has amnesia.
Yeah.
So Crichton's like, this is who you are, this is what you do.
Yeah.
This is why you look like how you look and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because the show had become very, very popular. And so they did a jumping on point. And so that was the perfect episode for jumping onto.
That is so weird.
Yeah. And I loved it. And from that moment on, I was just absolutely obsessed with Red Dwarf. Yeah. Once the series was over, I went out to the shops to buy not this specific one, obviously exact version, but it was this. The end, bite one. This was before Crichton came into it. This is when we had Holly in it, because Holly wasn't in Series 6.
That's right.
So this was all new to me, and everything was weird and strange and different because the audio, the music at the beginning was different, and all of that was very, very strange. And, oh no, you know what? Tell a lie. It may have been the Smegouts. May have been the Smegouts video. But either way, that was the first actual series that I bought. And I loved it. I joined the Red Dwarf fan club very, very soon. They had a pen pal section at the back of the fan club magazine. I wrote to someone. I'm still friends with them. Oh, I'm still friends with them. Like 23 years later, still friends with them.
That's sweet.
So yeah, it was massive. Red Dwarf was such a big part of my kind of teens. And 90s Red Dwarf. It was so good. What about you, Des? What was your introduction?
That's why I said that's so weird. Mine was more or less exactly the same. I was flicking through the TV, was bored, and I watched a little bit of season 6. I can't remember what episode it was, but I remember watching it and really enjoying it. But I had this thing, and I still do, of I don't like to start something in the middle. I want to start something at the beginning. But back then, it's not. You can't really find anything.
Not easy.
I remember a couple of weeks after that, I specifically saw that video.
Which for those of you listening, it's the very first video.
It's the very first video.
Of the very first 3 episodes.
Yeah. It's a big cover, and it's got Rimmer, Lister, and Cat on this gigantic head of holly just floating in space outside Red Dwarf. I remember seeing this in a Curry's back home in Europe.
Curry's.
They used to sell videos.
I got mine, I'm fairly certain, from HMV. But I got a special. Do you remember when they used to release double videos, like a double plastic video?
Yeah.
I do have it. It's the Smeg Up Smeg Out double.
That's right. Yes.
And it was exclusive to Woolworths.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything like that. I remember that I had. I couldn't afford both, and my mum wouldn't give me money for both, so I had to choose between this and the Smeg Ups DVD. Video. Mm-hmm. And I chose the Smeg Ups.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good thing to go with. It was really interesting and really fun to watch. And there's lots of kind of extras within it. Like the Smeg Outs has scenes from the Red Dwarf convention, Dimension Jump. And lots of other little things.
It has the original ending of Series 6, which I still to this day wish that they went with.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same with Series 8 as well, because there's an alternate ending that was filmed. Series 8, there's lots of variations of Series 8. The one that was filmed and it's kind of been assembled on the DVD extras essentially has them getting back through, no cliffhanger. They save the day essentially, and Rimmer and everyone else is on the ship and just flights off into space, leaving the rest of the crew stranded. And it's great. And if you had that ending, the only continuity issue between that and the Series 9 or Back to Earth, whichever you want to call it,
is Rimmer dying.
Is Rimmer's hologram status. That is the only continuity issue in that scenario. Where instead you get a huge continuity gap between the end of what was the official Series 8 ending and Back to Earth. And the Series 8 ending apparently was going to involve Ace Rimmer coming back, which would have been great. And apparently the story goes Chris Barry was already in the Ace Rimmer costume. They're already set to go. They clearly already filmed the alternate ending. Yeah. So they were going to film this alternate ending as well with Ace Rimmer, so I don't quite know how true that is.
Well, there hasn't been any footage released of the Ace Rimmer ending.
There isn't. There hasn't been. Not even photographs. And then they kind of apparently decided at the last minute, let's scrap the Ace Rimmer ending and obviously get rid of the one we've shot and have
a cliffhanger?
And have a cliffhanger with Rimmer kneeing Death in the balls and...
Only the good day young.
I thought that was pretty bad.
I'm not a big fan of that ending. I do like... most fans are not a big fan of Series 7 or Series 8 because they Series 7 because they took away the audience.
I thought Series 7 was very good.
I love Series 7. I do prefer, if you're going to watch Series 7...
with the laugh track.
Get it with the laugh track, but also get the extended versions of the first episode, Ticket to Ride, because that ending, I bloody love that ending because it's so fun. The show has a very solid fan base. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Myself and yourself included. Yeah. I'm sure there's many other Smeg heads out there.
But Series 7 and 8 are kind of seen as the odd ones out. Series 8 especially.
Yeah, Series 7 onwards are kind of considered the black sheep.
Yeah.
I do remember...
Kind of essentially after Rob Grant.
Yeah. I do remember when I went to the Red Dwarf convention, they were taking part in like this pub quiz thing, and one of the teams was called Series 1 to 6 only.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. Bit harsh, I think.
Bit harsh.
I really do love this show. I think it's got a really good solid fan base. The show dips and weaves in quality and storytelling, but then again, that's what happens with any show that goes on for a prolonged period.
A lot of people love Series 5. For me, that's one of the weaker series.
I prefer Series 5. I like Series 5, but then again, my jumping off point is Series 6 because I'm used to the crew being on Starbug, on the sharp, witty dialogue between everybody. I really, really liked that.
For a while, my favourite series was Series 4, which features episodes like Wax World.
Yeah.
The Dimension Jump Ace Rimmer episode, and was generally, I think, every episode of Series 4 is kind. I'm not too keen on Camille, but I think other than Camille, I think Series 4 is fairly solid. It's all right. But you've got White Hole.
That's a classic. What is it?
what? It's a white hole. What is it? No one knows.
Yeah, it's one of those great sort of episodes. Back in the day when the writing was solid, it was good.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that as the series progresses,
I don't want to be critical of that too
same
much.
here.
And I know, there is this argument like, oh, just because someone's old, it doesn't mean they're not good anymore. And that's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. But it does feel a little bit, I don't know, with them being Danny John Jules still looks young.
Oh God,
and Craig Charles doesn't look too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Rimmer looks way not that he looks way too old. It's that you think that somebody at his age would not be as neurotic and bitter.
Yeah,
and evil. Not evil, but
yeah,
you know.
It feels like there hasn't been enough character development within it. Even though we've had episodes where there has been character development.
Yeah.
Like there was an episode where Rimmer does come to terms with neuroses and does come to terms with who he is.
Yeah.
And becomes this heroic figure as himself, and then they kind of forget about it.
Yeah, they just bypass it.
And I know there's going to be people listening or watching and saying, "Oh, well, Red Dwarf's never been big on continuity."
No.
And I disagree with that. I think the whole Red Dwarf not being big on continuity thing starts with the relaunch of Series 9 Back to Earth, and that's when the arguments start to come in.
Yeah.
Because the things people always turn to is they go, oh, well, it's never been big on continuity because Lister had his appendix removed twice.
Yeah.
That's a little piddly thing. That is not on the same scale as Rimmer's suddenly back as a hologram and all the crew are dead and Lister's now again the last human.
Yeah.
It's not on the same scale as Rimmer's character completely changing. Again, it's not. It's just not. I don't buy that excuse.
Yeah. But having said all that, we still love the show.
Still love the show.
The show is brilliant. It's nice to pop on a few episodes here and there, and really enjoy. It kind of reminds me of when we did the Ghostbuster episode where we said that it's nice to go back and get those like nostalgia tingles, and it's nice then like in series. I think it was in series 10 where they go where Rimmer is dimension jumping.
Oh yeah,
and they go back to
Hollister, and we get Holly reappearing for the
you
first
get Holly
proper
reappearing,
time.
and then you get to see the old bunks that they were there, and the old uniforms where Rimmer's got the big H.
It was a bit too big. It was a little too big.
Ash. Red Dwarf fans, they're not into continuity.
Not big on continuity.
They're not big on continuity.
No, it was a bit too big. But no, it was a brilliant episode. It's called Skipper. And,
that's right. Yeah. See,
everyone assumed Ace Rimmer was going to come back, and it would be nice if he did. There was one recent episode. I think it was the
Promised Land.
I think it was the Promised Land where you had like Super Gold Star Rimmer. And you essentially had him going through different previous incarnations of Rimmer until he becomes the perfect Rimmer.
Yeah.
And it was
Diamond Light Rimmer.
It was the perfect opportunity to bring back Ace Rimmer.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed they didn't.
Yeah.
Because if there was ever an opportunity to do so, it was right there and then.
Yeah.
And that felt very much like a missed opportunity.
Little bit, which was a shame.
It was.
Because Ace Rimmer has become kind of like well, I'm just going to say a character in and of himself.
He's
but
iconic.
He's
iconic.
an iconic character. You cannot mention to any Red Dwarf fan Ace Rimmer skydiving on the back of a crocodile without immediately getting that reaction.
I'll bet he's a sauerkraut. Racism.
Yeah. It was a war. The one thing I do remember...
Princess Bonjela.
Yeah. Princess Bonjela, Ace Rimmer. There'll be time for explanations later, and hopefully some sex.
So good. But that was... God, that was what, 23 years ago now?
Yeah.
23 years since we saw Ace Rimmer.
I know.
And there have been so many opportunities to see him again. Like, he's only appeared twice. I know they say he kind of appeared in
Series 6, whenever Rimmer lost his...
2.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really
That wasn't
Ace Rimmer.
really Ace Rimmer.
No, we saw him twice, and we've never seen the same Ace Rimmer twice.
That's true, yeah, because...
They are different Rimmers.
They're always different Rimmers.
versions.
Yeah.
And it just... I don't know, it just feels like they've done a lot with alternate versions of Rimmer and alternate dimensions and stuff, and had so many opportunities to bring back Ace Rimmer, and the fans want Ace Rimmer to come back, and I feel that Chris Barry wants Ace Rimmer to come back, and I just don't understand why they're not bringing him back when they kind of have had loads of opportunities to do, and then... but then they go and do things like that Time Wave episode where everyone's in pink and it's like it's owning the libs.
You really don't like that episode,
I
do you?
don't. It's basically that episode for me is. There are good episodes after it, but that episode was potentially something where it jumped the shark because it was essentially Old Man Yells at Cloud. That as an episode, it was basically, aren't people so easily offended today? We're going to poke fun at them, hardy. And it's like, okay, I'm not offended. This is just shit.
At best, Red Dwarf is incredibly memorable, funny, and the writing is at point. When it's at its best, it's that. But sorry, when it's at its worst, it's that.
And to be fair, when it's at its worst, it's very, very rare.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't like Back to Earth. I actually, especially if you watch it as a complete 60-minute director's cut, really good.
It's really good.
It's not as great for me towards the end because I'm not that big a fan of Blade Runner and I hadn't seen it at the time anyway.
I would never say that Blade Runner was an influence on Red Dwarf. I would say things like Porridge and Two Ronnies would be more more fitting for that. But Blade Runner,
it felt a really weird thing to pay an homage to.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever.
I know.
I think it worked. A lot of people hate it. I think it worked fine.
Carbug's adorable.
Carbug
is adorable.
And I love how meta it is. I love it. And I think series 10, 11, 12, really, really good. Was there a 13? There wasn't.
It wasn't, but I think series 13 was The Promised Land.
The Promised Land. I really like The Promised Land. Again, I think there was some bits of it where, like, the whole laser pen thing and the giant cat flip. I wasn't massively keen on. I thought it was, and the giant floppy disk. I don't know. It kind of felt a little bit like.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a lot about the show that we can still enjoy. There's a lot of.
I think when you've been going as long as Red Dwarf has, which is now not far off, like 35 years.
It started in 1988,
and it's still going strong. And hopefully we'll see another. I like the idea of them doing feature lengths every couple of years. What I would like to see the show do is I would like to see the show do a soft, ambiguous ending, just because I get the feeling that people are busy and doing other things, and maybe people are starting to get a little tired, maybe. I know that Norman Levitt is up and down with where he comes back, and I think maybe some of the cast maybe aren't always as keen at times. I think they're busy with other things as well and doing other things, and that's perfectly fine. But I would like to see a soft, ambiguous ending, maybe where they get back to Earth and they discover that they're so out of touch with it that they're just going to steal the Red Dwarf. Sort of like in that, an homage to that scene from Star Trek 2 where they steal the Enterprise and they steal the dwarf and they just head off to see what's out there.
Yeah.
And you've got an ending there where the show could just end or it could just come back. And if it did come back again, because you've already had a soft, ambiguous ending, it kind of doesn't matter if it just ends after the next series or not.
Let me float a question out there.
Okay.
Let me run this idea up your flagpole and see if you salute it.
Okay.
Let's flag down a taxi and head for Ronnie Real Street.
Yep.
All right. What if they started to do kind of, not a spin-off, what if they started to do like Big Finish audio dramas or an animated series with the original cast voicing their characters?
So I think a lot of the appeal of Red Dwarf is from seeing the actual performers actually performing. I think when it comes to audio versions, the Chris Barry audiobooks are amazing.
They are really good, but they are incredibly dark.
They are dark.
So dark.
Very, very different.
So very dark.
Very different.
Very, very, very different.
So good.
We're going to break down different things, different elements of the show in a minute, but you wouldn't be up for that?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be up for that. No.
Okay.
I don't have much more to say on that.
No, that's fair. I would have liked to have seen, like, as ridiculous as it may sound, like an animated series where they're still on Starbug before Kachansky comes along, where it's like a continuation of series 6.
They kind of did things like that with
storyboards.
No, well, they did that on the DVDs.
Yeah,
but they were kind of I think they were called webisodes. They were basically little animated versions of
but
scenes.
They took clips from the show. Yeah,
there were clips from the shows. I quite liked those. They were interesting. But it was at a time where people were experimenting with different types of media on mobile phones. But Red Dwarf's always been quite innovative, and it's done a lot.
Yeah,
and it's been in all sorts of media. It's been in so much media.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising at times. There have been mobile games. There haven't been console games, which is a shame. There have been DVD games, which me and Des played.
We did.
It was,
Beat the Geek.
It was an experience.
It was very much that.
It's got T-shirts. It's got figures, little kind of
figurines,
little mini figurines.
You could buy a mini Starbug.
T-shirts, play sets. Yeah, there's a lot of merchandise. And for those of you For those of you on the video version, and I will explain this for the audio listeners, there was a series of Red Dwarf collector cards.
Yeah.
I've got the 64 base set. There was some, I think, another 60 platinum special edition of the cards, and
they are gorgeous. They're basically trading cards, but with characters and scenes from Red Dwarf.
And they're really good. They came out. When did they come out?
That's what we're going to find out.
They came out in 2002.
There we go.
So this was during the quiet period, I guess you'd call it. The limbo era, when there wasn't really a lot.
There wasn't a lot happening, but the stuff that was coming out was really, really nice. I loved Series 7 when they're in the... No, sorry, Series 8 when they're in the prison. I really liked that because it took the show in a different direction.
I thought it was an interesting thing they did. I didn't think it was as bad as people made it out.
It's not as bad as people made it out. The one thing it
was just very different.
It was very different, but the one thing I didn't like about that was that I kind of felt that the character of Kachansky retreated a little bit. She was really, really strong and powerful in Series 7 because she was there to replace Rimmer. And then they kind of didn't know what to do with her in Series 8.
See, here's the thing with Red Dwarf.
Oh, okay.
They've always kind of made the point that they've kind of got too many characters to write for. It's why Holly got written out, because Crichton ended up taking a lot of their dialogue and lines.
Yeah.
And then when Rimmer left, we brought in Kachansky, and then Rimmer comes back, and they have probably a bit too much as well.
Yeah.
But then they kind of throw in all these other characters as well, and there's like it felt a little bit like I don't know. It just felt that you can't really make the argument of we've got to get rid of characters because we've got too many characters, and then suddenly go we're going to bring back all the characters, and then not have it suffer. And I think it did suffer. I think Kachansky's character suffered, which was a real shame because I think Chloe Annette did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And was a very different character to Claire Grogan's Kachansky.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I think I prefer Chloe Annette's because I think her dynamic with the characters is better and stronger than I think Claire Grogan's would have been.
Yeah.
Because of the way Claire Grogan had been written.
Yeah.
And I think... Series 8 was good. Again, Crikey TV hasn't aged well.
No, well, it wouldn't.
It really hasn't, but I think a lot of the show has. I think the ones that haven't aged well are very, very few and far between. And it's really just Crikey TV that stands out as not aging that well.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. When you think of Red Dwarf, when you think of the show, what's the first episode or the first joke that pops into your head?
Oh God!
Because I don't want this to be like, oh, Red Dwarf is good, but here's the things that we don't like about it. I want us to remember this because this show's really good. And
I don't know because there's just so much good stuff. For me, and I think for a lot of fans, Series 1 to 6 of the Golden Age, for me, will add 7 to that.
I would add Series 7 and Series 8 to that because I started on Series 6 and worked up.
Yeah, I will keep Series 8 around about there. I don't think it is as good as the earlier stuff.
No,
I do think it was better when it was smaller scale.
Yeah. I remember things like whenever I think of Red Dwarf, the first thing that always pops into my head is, "Sir, are you absolutely sure? It does mean changing the bulb." It's those little things. Or when Rimmer misquotes Space Corps Directive. It's those type of things that I remember.
No crew member shall report for duty in a ginger toupee. It's really... I once met Robert Llewellyn, and I now know I have ADHD, so this is kind of why, but I didn't pay as close attention to a question he was answering, and because I was so eager to ask a question myself, and I put my hand up and I asked basically the exact same question, and he told me off as Crichton.
Oh,
it was the best thing ever.
What did he say? Can you remember?
I think it was something like, I've just answered that. Were you not paying attention, you foolish man?
Nice.
Foolish boy.
Did he say anything to you afterwards when you got your... Did you get a signature?
I got his autograph.
I
got his autograph. He called me a cunt and slapped me, and that was it.
That's so Robert Llewellyn, isn't it?
It is.
That is so Robert Llewellyn.
Just in case any lawyers are listening, no, he didn't do that.
No, he didn't. I've only met Robert Llewellyn once. Very, very lovely guy.
Yeah, I've heard this.
What have you heard?
He's a very, very lovely guy.
Oh, he's a truly lovely, lovely person. I met Chris Barry once at a convention in Glasgow. He was there, I think it was MCM, which now no longer exists. Thanks, MCM, for focusing on England and not on Scotland, you sons of plebs.
Maybe they'll do a UK tour.
Maybe, yeah.
And miss out everywhere that isn't England. Like everyone else does who does a UK tour.
But I met Chris Barry there, and he was doing a panel. I learnt from that panel that from waiting in, because I think it was myself and my wife. We were in full Ghostbuster regalia, and we were in the queue. And he was just heading off for a panel, and he just went, "Sorry, everybody, I'll be back soon. I just got to go and take care of this panel." And just as he was leaving, he was like, "Oh, love your costumes." And we was like, "Thank you." He's like, "Do you have to nip off somewhere quickly?" He says, "Well, I've got to go and do this panel, and then I've got to come back because I've got to go to work." And I was like, "I bet you're flying there." And he goes, "No, I'm scared of flying. I'll be getting the train." So I learned that Chris Barry has a fear of flying.
Interesting.
There we go. It was the same place that I met female Holly.
Hattie
Hedrich, yeah, she was super lovely, mad as a bag of Spanish. I met Danny John Jules, lovely, mad as a bag of Spanish.
Okay, so Danny John Jules, I've got a story about Danny John Jules.
Oh, you got
I know we're near the end, but all right. So I was working very briefly on a school magazine, and it was around the time Series 8 came out, and the magazine never actually got anywhere in the end. But I wanted to interview some of the cast for this magazine.
Right.
So I kind of got in touch with Helen Norman at Grand Naylor Productions. And I guess I must have phoned her because this was like the 90s, so it wasn't email. I actually spoke to someone. And I kind of spoke to her, and she said, "Well, yeah, I'll sort some stuff out." And she gave me a contact number for Danny John Jules, and I assumed it was Danny John Jules' his agent or something. So I'm at my nan's, and I kind of phone this number and kind of just get through the answer phone. I leave a message. And I go back home thinking, well, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm not going to get a call back because it's his agent, and his agent will be there during the day. Yeah. And I get a call, get back home. And my nan calls me up and she says, "Oh, we just had someone call back, really quite annoyed." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, this woman called back." So I kind of realised that it was like from the Dan John Jules thing. Oh, his agent must have called back. So I call back the number from my home, and I get through. Helen Norman had given me his home phone number. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was his partner or his mother or who it was, but there was this very angry woman. Basically, "How did you get this phone number? This is really unprofessional. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Really sorry, I'm really..." And so, like, I got a telling off from I think it was his mother. I'm not entirely certain. So if it was his partner or someone else, I'm genuinely sorry. But I essentially got a telling off from the cat's mum or partner.
Oh my God! Why did she give you his whole number?
I don't know.
Jesus!
I know. So, Danny, I'm really sorry. If it was your mum or if it was your partner, whoever it was, I'm really sorry.
You have nothing to apologise for. What was the name of the person that gave you the number?
It was Helen Norman.
Helen Norman? What is wrong with you? You're probably never going to see this. You deserve Danny. And you deserve to give Danny an apology.
I think I was 50.
Yeah, and you need to apologise to Ash Price. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. So yeah, that is my my Danny John Jules story.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I felt so bad about that.
Well, you should.
But yeah, I think we're kind of coming to the end of it now. I love Red Dwarf. It's brilliant.
We do.
There were some down parts, but
there is some down parts in this. But
of course,
this is the fact that there's still a convention going on for the show means a lot to a lot of people.
I love it, and everyone involved in it except Helen Norman.
Yes, Helen Norman.
So yeah, I love the show. It's
all right. Just quickly,
any of the negatives I said were just kind of like passing. They don't spoil it at all.
Yeah,
even Time Wave is a watchable episode.
It is. And if you are planning to watch this, do what we did. Start with Series 6 and then find Series 1 and work your way through. Because I think Series 6 kind of sets up everything nicely.
It does.
I think Series 1 and 2, the introduction's so dark that
they're difficult to get into.
It's not that they're difficult to get into. I think tonally, especially that intro,
very different.
So different. But trust us. Oh God, I'm going to turn into one of those people. Power through the first season. It gets so much better.
There are some great episodes in series 1 and 2, though.
Yeah, there is.
But we will have another episode on Red Dwarf because we need to talk about some of the other spin-off media, and we will be starting a regular
we will
review series on Red Dwarf. But for now,
Smeg off.
Yeah, I've been Ash Price.
I've been Des Remember.
Let's do the extended rumor salute.
Extended rumor salute. This will not work on a podcast.
We will not. We're doing an extended rumor salute.
Rumor salute. And all we can say for now is, oh wow, he's going full rimmer. He's got the arm going and a bit. For now, let's just say smeg off, dog food face.
That did actually genuinely hurt.
Yeah, it sounded. Okay, I'm going to take Ash to a hospital. Bye for now.
Bye.